Hey, this is Kurt Von Annen. Welcome to the Challenge Connection. In this one pager, I want to go over some of the goals of running a successful online challenge. So if you look here at step one, you'll see it says, who is the prime target to add value with an online challenge? So when you think about running your online challenge, who's your perfect person? Who's the person that's going to join this challenge and get the most from it from you? Right? As I take a look at this, I'm thinking online challenges. What's the advantage of moving your challenge to a private space, right? Getting your challenge off of a social media channel and getting it into your own private space. And then as you develop this challenge, I want to help you figure out, like, what are you doing with the challenge? What's your main goal of the challenge, right? So the first thing we want to think about is who. Who are we going to add value to with your challenge? Step two is, what end result do you want to get for the people that are doing your challenge? So you might have a challenge where you want to teach people how to, in the other training, we said go from couch to 5K, right? Go from sitting on the couch to being able to run a 5K. And so, let's say that that's your end result. You want them to get to be able to run a 5K. Okay. Now, for you and your challenge, I want you to take this one pager and use it like a worksheet to kind of figure this out for yourself, right? Step three, it says, what are the 3 to 5 smaller steps that go with that end result? So you have a big goal, right? And then you want to think of, well, what are 3 to 5 steps along the way to get to that big goal, right? And then as we get to step 4, we say, okay, concentrate on just one of those smaller steps. And it might be as simple as, recognizing you're still sitting on a couch in a couch to 5K, recognizing your sedentary lifestyle. Maybe it's the part where you say getting active and going from walking around the block once to walking around the block 10 times, right? But in your particular challenge, think of those 3 to 5 steps that get you to the overall goal, right? And then think of 3 to 5 actionable items that go with one of those smaller steps. Right. So we call that like a framework, right? So you want to think of the framework of what your challenge is going to be. And so you say, what item from step number 3 could I break down into 3 to 5 actionable steps and help you accomplish that part, right? To get you that one next step to the goal. Okay. And then as you're thinking of that, I want you to think about what it means for you or the value that you can add to your community by being able to take your challenge off of the social sites and putting it into your own private online space. So what value can you bring to people in that regard? It could be, you control the order in which things get shown to people, right? It could be that, you can offer one-on-one coaching with people, right? Depending on what challenge what package you have in the channel connection. You could, there's all kinds of things. So I want you to think about, what are the advantages of doing an online challenge in my own private space and having control over, the user data and, controlling the order of content or holding back content from people until they attain a certain prerequisite, right? There's all kinds of things that we can think of in that space. So I want you to try and think of that. Now, as we think about this one pager and you're blowing out this for yourself, again, think about your challenge, who you're going to benefit with your challenge, the overall goal or result that you're going to give to people within your challenge, right? And then beyond that, you want to, break that down into 3 or 5 subcategories, right? 3 to 5 subcategories to get to the main goal. And then each of those you can break down into 3 to 5 actionable steps that'll get people to find success. I'll tell you this, when I first started looking at online challenges and dealing with, let's say that the Facebook environment, right? Doing a Facebook challenge. A couple of things really got in the way of me running a successful challenge. One was, kind of limited myself on how many people I could attract to my challenge and how many channels I could advertise my Facebook challenge on to bring people over. For instance, if people are usually in LinkedIn, there's a certain air with LinkedIn folks, like they're professionals and this is a professional space. You'll even see people on LinkedIn post, this ain't Facebook, that doesn't belong here. Well, for you to invite them from LinkedIn to Facebook for your online challenge is kind of a hard ask, right? It's hard to get people to come over from LinkedIn to Facebook. So it limits your audience. So that was one thing that that occurred to me. I couldn't attract the people I really wanted in my challenge because I couldn't get them over to that channel effectively, right? Now imagine if you owned your own online space to host your challenges. Well, now you can spread that net out across Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, right? TikTok, and you can bring people into your space, right? The other thing I noticed with using Facebook as the environment for my challenges, I noticed that I didn't really have control over the order in which content was shown to my participants. I mean, you can pin something to the top of your page, right? You can do that, but everyone else's interaction within the challenge, especially if it's a multiple day challenge that's 5, 7, 10 days, that people start posting in and their days get mixed up, and the order of the posts, they get out of order, and that lack of order takes away organization, and it takes away some people's ability to think linearly through your process. And so it waters down the process that you're trying to share with people. So that's one of the things I said, hey, if I could get off of Facebook and run my challenge in my own space, I could control the order in which the content is shown. And then one story that was told to me by one of my clients just jumps off the page, and it was unique. It was during the COVID crisis, and he had posted stuff that was not Facebook acceptable for COVID. His thoughts kind of aligned with mine a little bit, but Facebook gave him a break, right? They said, hey, buddy, you don't need to be on Facebook for a few days. Well, that's a problem for him because he was running his own very successful Facebook challenge. Hundreds of people are in there doing a Facebook challenge. He's supposed to be running the challenge, and he can't even get into his own challenge to manage it. And so 3 days goes by, and his challenge is all cattywampus, and there's no guidance from him in there for 3 days. And you got all these people in there, posting their own things and going their own directions. And again, waters down the message that he was trying to convey to people. Here he is doing something that is free for him to offer, right? And so he's offering this for free. People are in there trying to improve themselves, and all of a sudden he gets sucked out of the equation, of I say no fault of his own, but he gets sucked out, right? Because Facebook suspended him, and he can't even adjust his own challenge. But people are still in there doing their thing. And so if you have your own private space online, you can't get kicked out of your own challenge, can you? So these are the things that I looked at when I said, hey, let's have an area where people can host their challenges successfully and add value to people. And when I look at that, and I said, well, so what are some other things, right? So from my perspective, I said, I want people to be able to own their own space. I want people to monetize it and sell it if they want to sell stuff. Like if you want to charge people to take your challenge, you totally can. Do you want to share PDFs or resources with people through the site? You can do that. And then when you take a look at our premium package, my goodness, you can do one-on-one coaching. You can do social interaction between the members, right? In their own kind of social intrasite inside your site. And there's just all kinds of things that you can do without the restrictions and the barriers that other social media channels put on their areas, because it's your private online space. It doesn't belong to somebody else. And so that gives you the freedom to do that. So when I lay this out to you as Challenge Connection, and I say, now there's no restrictions, you have the ability and the freedom to help people and add value to people the way you see fit. I point to this and I go, what are the advantages? Who are you going to help? What's the overarching goal? How do you break that goal into 3 to 5 smaller steps? And then each of those 3 to 5 smaller steps is going to have 3 to 5 actionable items that you can share with people through the challenge process. And then, step 5 for me is, now that you have all that, how are you going to put that into action, virtually within your challenge and convey the value to your audience that you intend to? And you know what? We've got some courses in the Challenge Connection that can give you some really good insight on how to make that happen. We give you all of the information you need as far as modifying your site. And we also offer a done-for-you service. So go through this one pager, really put some thought into it for yourselves, and then we will move forward. Have yourself a great one. Bye-bye.